You're creating a world that can only exist on that stage at that time and that moment for that audience. So that's really what I think the process of design is.
The designer is selecting the image, the visual funnel, as it were, through which an audience is receiving this experience.
When you do a Broadway show, the theater comes with a curtain and some seats. There's nothing backstage. So any scenery you see was brought in for this show, and when this show closes, it will leave the theater.
This theater, which is a great theater to be an audience in, has no wing space at all. Everything that we use throughout the show has to be jammed into these little corners, sort of like a jigsaw puzzle that is shifted about in the course of the show. One lucky break is that one of the most complex changes happens during the intermission. We bring the airplane elements, which are these sort of steel pier pieces, back along the rear of the stage. The girls clamber on them. And when the scene is revealed through the scrim, that comes down from the back of the stage and arrives on the elevator here, which is a stage width elevator. And so as the plane takes flight, this elevator lifts them way up in the air.
I work cinematically in the theater. And what that means is I play with long shots and close-ups by using miniatures, by using scale play. So you will have this whole panorama of village life, and as the village turns around, you are now into the interior of that house.
3, 4, 1, 2, 3, T.
I don't see the point in staying with what we would call a realistic scale.
1.
Scale helps you to feel certain things more potently.
If one does an idea based on the Titanic, we've got to sink something. Something's got to happen.
Run this again, you guys.
These lifts are effectively lifting 10 tons up into the air. We're using a lot of mechanics to achieve an effect which I think will be quite successful. We're hopefully producing a very powerful sequence of images to dramatically represent this ship going down. And I hope to combine that with the powers of imagination from the members of the audience.
I think the basic thing you do as a designer is to be totally free and childlike in your associations and sort of grand in your thinking. I do find it an odd profession in that you have to be extremely practical. Everything has to fit, or at least we're trying to make it fit. Even though this is a huge set, everything is scaled to humans. The human being is where you start. In fact, in this case, the handrails are actually 3 inches lower because on Stockard Channing, it was a better line. It's funny, I go back through all the pieces of paper and I see the whole trail that we went on. It's like a murder mystery or a crossword puzzle where you're filling in the clues and you think you aren't making progress, but eventually you see, oh, it all added up.
Stay where we are. Okay. Ben, you're going to have to delay 51 through 54 by 4 counts. Set designer does a model. The costume designer does sketches. What do I do?
Ready for us, Ken? Yeah.
The only time you can appreciate my art as a theatrical lighting designer in the theater is when you're sitting there enjoying the show. Chicago is very stark, very in your face. The scenery is meticulously designed in its simplicity, but then I had to help create the mood, because the lighting designer is the person who, I always say, finishes off the production.
The lighting designer is responsible for the way an audience sees and experiences the show. We develop a look for the show that underlines and underscores the moods, energies, and rhythms of the piece. This show was wonderful because I had a chance to work with the latest technology available for lighting design. And the equipment called Verilights are an extremely bright source of light that can be controlled from a distance with a computer.
Yeah, so you put your hand just to the side of it, so that light's on your face.
With the Verilight equipment, you can snap instantly from on to off. So we can give Hyde his light when he's stooped over and low, and we can give Jekyll his light when he's upstanding and facing hope.
I close my eyes and you disappear.
Setting and lighting are one, and setting, lighting, and costumes are one. And the relationships there are absolutely crucial.
Again and again, over and over in my career, I have wanted to literally kneel down and kiss the feet of many of the costumers I've worked with, because I think their creations and their vision has added immeasurably to whatever I have come up with.
What's the use? What's the use? Go, you swindle and chisel, your plots always fizzle.
This show is really eclectic in the way it's approached, because you've got this journey to all these cultures and countries, and it has to be magical, and yet at the same time that each world is different, it also has to be yanked together in one stylistic presence. I went back to 19th century circus research, and the circus gave me the ability to create a unification.
We're in 1980, which was all about status and pride and giving more attitude as you walk down the street. A lot of it is a blend of realism and theatricality, because the show has both going on in it. There is some sort of seedy glamour about the whole thing that couldn't help but be shown. The shoes are wild, and I mean, you know, the sneaker was just not a thing. You know what I mean? It was just not a thing. But the shoes are cool.
This is a personal thing on every woman, the line of their trunks.
When you work with a person, it's a one-on-one thing, trying to find out where their center is. And I don't mean and all that sort of stuff. I mean, where's their center of comfort, their comfort with their own sexuality.
We talked about her pants, and we talked about this, your shawl.
You know, you want that tease of vulgarity without being really vulgar.
I can't do it alone.
Bebe Neuwirth, her outfit is unbelievable. She's in this little slip. Well, I don't think a term slip has ever been so aptly assigned to a garment. So that's just sort of the magic marriage of body, fabric, fabulous muscle tone, and just where to say stop.
I think theater is incredibly collaborative. I think certainly the costume designer always will talk to the set designer, will always talk to the lighting designer, because the great designers know it all should work together to create an effect.
And when you walk out of the theater, you really shouldn't say, gee, the lighting was great, gee, the scenery was great, gee, the costumes were great. You should come out of the theater saying, that was a great show.